Well, welcome back to Backyard Cars, and today we're diving back into how you identify your small block Chevy. Because the short I made, well, I couldn't fit enough information in 1 minute, and it led to controversy. So, go get your popcorn, and let's break down how you identify your small block Chevy. So, looking at this, we know we're just trying to identify what motor. Well, looking at it, we know it's a small block Chevy. Is it a 305? Is it a 350? Is it a 400? Well, all that, there's numbers on it that can tell you that. Some people say, well, count the freeze plugs and this and that and look at the crank and, well, you can do all those things, but it's just as easy to look back here on the block. And there's a casting number right here. This casting number says 3970010. And that's a good starting point. And we all know the 0010, well, that brings up controversy because people say, well, this is a 4-bolt main and it's 10% nickel and all sorts of stuff. And it's a 350. Those numbers mean it's a 350. So if we start here, well, this is not going to give us a whole lot of information other than it verifies it's a small block. But this 3970010 casting number, it was used in the late 60s on the Chevy DZ 302, which only went in Camaros, my understanding. It was used in the Big Journal 327s before 1970. And then somewhere, 69, late 69, early 70, that casting number went to the 350. So just using this casting number back here, it's either a DZ302, a Big Journal 327, or it's a 350. So our next number that we would look at to try and figure out what we're dealing with is up on the front. You're looking at the front of the motor. Our next number would be up here. It's a stamp number up here on this deck pad in front of the passenger head. The right head if you're sitting in the car, and on the front left of the motor if you're standing in front of it. But this number here, that's going to tell us exactly what this motor is and what the motor came in. So before we go any further, I'm going to show you another motor I have out back. It's a 350. We're going to show you the casting numbers. We're going to show you the stamped pad number. We're going to show you a number up inside the timing cover. And then we'll come back to this motor and we'll run these numbers here, try to figure out where we're at, what it is. I know some of y'all already keyed in on this little oil galley plug right here. And you're swearing right now, you're like, that is a 4-bolt main 350, fella. And you could be right. You could be. We're going to take the pan off of this in a little bit, and we're going to find out. But the rumor is that this oil galley plug is here. Well, it's a 4-bolt main. So let's go look at the other motor, and then we'll come back to this one.
So here's our other small block. It's a 350, and as you can see right down here, it's a 3970010 block. And a lot of people would say this is a 4-bolt main. And it's stamped up in the front on the timing cover as 010. It's got a 4 here, you know. Then around on the back side, we'll try to get down in here, it's also cast in the block right here, 010. Let me just scan over here a little bit. You can see we got K7 in the block here. No other markings. 397-01-0010. Up here on our passenger pad, we got the VIN number, and we got K1006 CTL. Now, we can look this motor up by all those numbers I just gave you. The 010 down here, that tells you some things, people say. This number here is the most important, in my opinion. The casting number there on the rear, where we got the 397-0010, that's good. That can tell you a lot of things, but in this case, it doesn't tell you everything. This pad tells you everything. So in this case, the K tells you what you want to know. All these digits right here and letters. This is the plant. This is the month. This is the day. And this is going to tell you what it was in and what the motor is. That's the GM suffix code for your small blocks. And that'll tell you exactly what it was in, how many horsepower it was, all that. And we'll talk about that in just a second. But we went over this motor now. We say we know it's a 397-0010 block. It's a 010 up here on the front cast in here. It's got a 4. You know, it's got the 010 cast in the rear. Now, let's go down and let's look at the caps. Oh, can you guys see it? Do we need to rotate over? Obviously that's 2. Let's rotate over here to the light a little bit. And we can see in here 2 bolt, 2 bolt, 2 bolt, 2 bolt. So now you see it's a 2 bolt block. A 2 bolt CTL 397-0010 Chevrolet 350.
Well, now that we've took a peek at the other motor, and we got all our numbers off of it, and we noticed, well, it's a 2-bolt main. It's got the 0101 in the timing cover, and the 010 on the back casting number. Well, we got our numbers off the pad up here that I showed you. Right? So now, let's take a look at this one. Since we know now that not all 010 blocks are 4-bolt main, how do we figure out, you know, do we have a 4-bolt or a 2-bolt? I know we noticed on the other one there was no oil galley plug here. Is that a sign? I don't know. That's a 2-bolt with no oil galley plug. So could the oil galley plug be a surefire sign that this came in a truck, an industrial truck, and it is a 4-bolt main, and this is drilled out because when it's in those industrial trucks, it's too hard to get to the oil thing back here. So they put it up here when it's in the industrial pickups. You know, the big top kick things or whatever they called them back then. So let's figure it out. We know it's a 397-0010 block. So let's look up here on this casting pad. I'll get you in here. It's hard to see it, but I'll get you in here so you can see that on the deck here. Not on the head, on the deck. You know, that stamped number. So right up here we have V11. What is that? 2. It's hard to see. V1113 CNV. We know that the first V is the plant, and I think that's Michigan. V is Flint. Then 11, well, that's the month. So it was made in Flint in November. The 13 is the date, and on November 13th in Flint. And CNV, well, if we go to those numbers, or the suffix code, those last 3 right there, CNV is going to take you to a 1970 Chevy Caprice that had a 350. It was a 250 horse motor with an automatic transmission and a 2-barrel carburetor. So now we've identified it is a 350. It is an 0101, 010, and by this pad up here, it came with a 2-barrel, 250 horse motor in a 1970 Caprice. So the only thing now we need to do is take the pan off and see, is it a 4-bolt or a 2-bolt? And that, you know, according to a lot of guys, this is the giveaway, that it is a 4-bolt main. So let's quit talking now, and let's get into the meat and potatoes, and let's see, is it a 4-bolt main? And yeah, it's still got oil in it. So I'm going to have to bring it up a little bit, get the oil out, and then get some tools to take the pan off. What do I need there? 1/2 inch, 9/16. Alright, a little bit of Earl's. Oh, hey, let me get that before it gets buried. Actually, oil feels pretty good. It don't look too bad. It's got plenty of viscosity. Well, let's check the smell. Can we smell fuel? What do we smell in it? Oh yeah, definitely smell old fuel. And then what do we got to get under here? We got to get a 3/8. Is that what that is? 3/8? 7/16, except for those. The ones on the corners are a 1/2 inch. I know that. Right? 9/16. I forget. I know the ones on the corners are larger. Okay? 1/2 inch. Alright. This is going to take me forever, I guess. Let me get these pan bolts off, and we'll come back. Alright. Oh look, it just fell as soon as I hit the camera. I was about to come hit it with the thing, and I turned the camera on to hit it with the thing, and it just fell for me. So, we get to peek in there real easy. Oh, we're stuck on the other side. Come on. Go. Let's look inside this. Oh, I probably should have put the drain plug back on. Okay. It's not looking too good in there. Sealing came off. Okay. It don't look bad. It don't look great. There's stuff in the bottom. That's all I'm saying. But this is what we're after here. I guess let me jack it up so we can take a peek and see, is it a 2 or a 4-bolt main? Right? The old galley plug says it's a 4. Me? I don't know. I don't know why you would have a 4-bolt main with a 2-barrel motor. You see? Do you feel me? If it's a 250 horse motor, why would you need a 2-bolt or a 4-bolt main. Can you see it? I want to get you in there so you can get in the teethus of it. No trickeries. All right, we're up. Well, what is it? Let's look. Oh, I just knocked over all the oil pan bolts, so that's good. There's a main cap. And there's a main cap. And there's a main cap. And well, fellas, it's a 2-bolt main. It's a 2-bolt main. Can you believe that? I don't think you can. It's a 2-bolt main. So, well, I'm going to have to get you up in the air now and see this. 397-0010. Right? You got your 010 right there, 020, whatever you want to look at. This top hole, if you look, it is threaded, right? That only comes on 4-bolt mains is what a lot of people will tell you. But they're wrong. We got our suffix code up here. That's telling us it's a 1970 Caprice motor. We got the oil galley plug in the front that some people swear. That means it's a 4-bolt main, right? So, it's our pink motor. Y'all fellas know, we argued about this. Everybody told me I was wrong, that it's a 4-bolt. So now let's go up underneath here and get a good look. Guys, real good look. That's a 2-bolt main, fella. You see that? 1, 2, 3 centers, 2-bolt mains. You don't see another bolt up here, do you? So who's I'm saying that's all I'm trying to get at is that, well, there's no real definitive way to tell if it's a 4-bolt or a 2-bolt. But I'll tell you this, they ain't putting a 2-barrel on a 4-bolt motor. This is a prime example of how everybody on the internet don't know anything. You have this thing. You have a pocket computer. It's a wealth of information. This thing can tell you, it's like having an encyclopedia in your pocket. And people still, they get on the internet. You're on a device that can tell you everything you need to know. And you're still just typing in what Bobby told you 20 years ago. Well, 40 years ago now. You're still like, hey, my grandpa told me this. Well, your grandpa was wrong. Your grandpa, he didn't have the information you have today. So do a little research. You know, think about things before you type in what you think you know. Because you may look dumb arguing with me, telling me that I'm an idiot, that this is a 4-bolt main and all these things mean it's 4 bolts. And if you take that pan off, well, you're going to look dumb. I don't look too dumb now. It's a 2-bolt main. You can't fit all this information into a 1-minute short. Here's the proof in the pudding. Not everybody knows everything. I don't know anything. I look things up. I can't know everything. But I do know where you can get good information. And when you're questioning things or you have an idea, you go with the good information. I don't call up Bobby and say, hey Bobby, what you think this is? Nope. I get the numbers. I use common sense. We put it all together. Some of y'all were like, hey, those heads could have been changed. Well, they could have, but who's going to put them tiny little heads on this motor? I mean, who's going to do all that? Not me. Okay. Well, what do we do now? We showed you, you know, I pulled that motor back there out of our 72 Malibu, and you can watch that in another video where we got the Malibu here and we were going to try and save it, but it was gone. So I just pulled the drivetrain out. That was an original number matching 72 350 sitting back there that came in the Malibu that we got rid of. this one here, well, it was in this Ford. And we pulled it out to put a 383 stroker in there. I know y'all saw that. So, in the process of that, we got hounded on it being pink. I didn't paint it pink, but I'm going to keep it pink because it made everybody mad. And I'm all about firing people up. Well, I'm going to put the fan back on this now because I don't plan on doing anything with this. This motor ran good. It didn't smoke. It had 60 pounds of oil pressure. It fired right up after sitting for 4 years on bad gas. So I don't see any point in tearing this apart. We are going to do some gaskets because, well, it was leaking everywhere. I mean, every seal on it is worn out. So, and I know some of y'all right now are like, who cares? It's a small block. Well, I got one of these newer. That's an L83. It's not an LS, I guess. It's an LT. But I got one there. I mean, can we carburate that? What do we do with that? I don't know. I know a lot about these. I don't know much about those. That's got cam phasers and direct injection, and can you do away with all that stuff? I'm getting off point. 2-bolt main. That's what the point is. Chevy 350, 2-bolt main. If you follow the numbers are going to tell you the truth. You don't have to call Uncle Tommy and ask him how many freeze plugs or. Oh, and just in case you're wondering, because I've had this a lot, where do you cross those numbers, or you got bad information? The suffix code list is pretty general. You can find it in a lot of places. Nasty Z28, the group online, I think it's called nastyz28.com. They actually have them posted in their forums. The suffix code list, the build plant list, the casting number list. Nasty Z28 has them for sure. There's 4 or 5 other sites that you can cross them to. I don't only use one. I cross it against a couple other ones just in case we don't find a misprint. Let's touch on one more thing, because they tell you that the 10010 blocks are 10% nickel. And I don't know. I've heard that. I've also heard that they debunked that it doesn't mean anything. I've heard that 010 blocks are made in Canada. Well, this has a Flint, Michigan V on it. So that's definitely a Michigan motor. The one in the back, that's a Canadian motor. Some say that the 010 has thicker webbing. I don't know about that. I do know that I love 2-bolt mains, and they'll hold 450 horse, no problem. You're not spending $7,000 with a 2-bolt main. The good thing about a 2-bolt main is if you go ahead and put in splayed main caps, it's stronger than the 4-bolt mains. And I know it is a 4-bolt main at that point, but it wasn't a factory 4-bolt. And the splayed mains, those people want to know, right? What does splayed mains mean? Well, on your normal 4-bolt main, they go straight in here and straight into this hole here. You got one here and one straight in here. And some people believe that the second hole here, well, it weakens the casting, the webbing inside there. It weakens that channel. So the splayed main runs that bolt out. Right? So it's not straight up in there. The splayed main is kind of at an angle, and it goes like with the ridge of the block inside there. You see? So you got 2 going up and 2 going out. And apparently it keeps the strength in there. I've never done it. I've seen a couple, but I've never wanted or cared to get 600 horse out of this. Not my cup of tea. I build street cars. I build cars to cruise around in, and 400 horse and a 2-bolt, it's going to be just fine. If you're going to the track and you're spending 7,000 RPM, no, the 2-bolts it's gonna separate. At 7,000 RPM, the 4-bolt is probably gonna separate a little. But your catastrophic failure, 7,000 RPM, 500 horse on a 2-bolt. I'm not even gonna lie about that. But it's good. Did I cover it all now? Anyway, Tom, in the back, you got anything else you want to play with it? All right. I guess I got to put the pan back on and put it away. So I appreciate you watching, and maybe you learned something. Maybe you didn't. I'm not a good teacher, and I don't really know anything, but I'm getting ate up by mosquitoes, too, in the middle of the day. But again, I appreciate it. Go down there. I don't know what side. This side down here. And, you know, do the thumb thing. Ring the bell. Leave a comment. Appreciate you watching, and who knows what we're going to do next. Oh, by the way, you guys that bet me that it was a 4-bolt main, yeah, I know I won't see you. I know you won't comment. Yeah. I'm right. They're wrong. That's what it boils down to. And I'm gonna use this one. I'm gonna take the win, because wins are few and far in between. I'm rambling again. Peace out. Enjoy it. I had fun. Let me finish working while you go do whatever you're doing today.